Hi. You'll have to forgive my voice. Not feeling so well. Um, I've been wanting to kind of speak about my chronic pain. There's a lot of people that don't actually really know what's been happening to me for the last 10 years, what I've been experiencing as far as chronic pain goes. So I thought I'd give you a short little story. I've repeated this story so many times, tell various doctors that I've kind of got a spiel, but I'm going to try to come from a true place today, this story actually means today. So, I always start at this particular place in time where I feel this all started, but what I'm starting to understand is that this is something that was progressively uh, showing up in my body. I just didn't notice till this point. It was the last drop that made the cup overflow. So I always think about when this first started, and so that was in Whistler. I was living in Whistler, and I like living in Whistler. It was a good time. I'm a snowboard kid. I fell in love with it in Lake Louise and loved living the lifestyle. And then it changed to mountain biking, and I just wanted to be anywhere where I could snowboard and mountain bike, and allow it to become my life. So I worked at a bike shop, ski shop in Whistler when all of this kind of started happening. So, what I have is that since my Whistler days, to say it shortly, one day a migraine started and then it never ended. So, I've had a migraine every day, 24/7, for the last 10 years. So, just take a moment to imagine your very worst headache. And if you've never had a headache before, which I know everyone's had some sort of headache, imagine somebody hitting you over the head with a frying pan and what that might feel like. So imagine your worst headache ever. For those of you that have, partied back in the day, your worst hangover ever. Really, that's what it's like. Worst hangover ever. Like the time where um, my coworkers gave me absinthe at a staff party. The day after that, that feeling I've had for the last 10 years. So imagine not only that, having this headache, and it continuing uh, day after day, but also not having any sort of indication from anyone of when it might stop. So when this all started in Whistler, I was at work, and there were a little bit of things pre when the migraine started, and that was like I'd have big drops of energy. I'd get like distortion suddenly. I felt like I was having like, sorry, you guys don't know my background a bit more. I felt like I was having mushroom flashbacks back in the day, because I was tripping out. There was like these weird things that were happening that were, shouldn't be happening. And then so I was at work, and then that distortion feeling got worse at work, and then I got full on tunnel vision. I mean, I got all lost sensation in my hands and feet. So all the sensation in hands and feet went. I got full on tunnel vision, and I passed out at work. And my coworker Scotty at the time took me to the emergency room. And when I was in the emergency room, this doctor, because it being in Whistler, lots of sports injuries, he took an x-ray of my spine right away, although it appeared to be a migraine. And when he checked my spine, so this is my C1, so my very first vertebrae, and my cervical spine, and this is my tongue, and they are supposed to be aligned, ish like this, and my C1 was like way off to the side, as well as my C5. So there was definitely something happening with my spine that was triggering my nerves. And so at that time, the doctor, which was really unbelievable for the time because this is over a decade ago, suggested that I do yoga. He's like, this isn't going to get better by just going to the chiropractor and physio, you need your own practice because your spine's going to need a lot of help to recover. So he gave me a migraine shot, which totally didn't work. And those words were in the back of my head, but not quite sunk in. So um, I went to a whole bunch of specialists after that, neurologists, all these things. They thought I had vertigo for a while and lots of different things. My ribs were out of place. It was really horrible moments, them trying to get my vertebrae back in. For a while I couldn't even get out of bed. They had me on so much migraines medication, which, you know, really didn't never have worked for me, but at the time I was just trying whatever. And they made me so nauseous and dizzy that basically amplifying the migraines, that if there were more than a few people in the room, I would vomit. So they had me doing all these vertigo exercises with my eyes, and I wasn't allowed to go above mid-station. There was so much snow. It was a really hard time. Anyway, it was really difficult. And then things only started getting better. This is what went weeks like this where I didn't even know where the ground was most of the time. So dizzy. It was crazy. And so above from where I worked at Fanatico at the time, there was a chiropractor, and that started helping. I saw a chiropractor, and I think it helped because there was someone, you know, trying to get a plan for me that, you know, kind of had a feeling of like, oh shit, this is what this girl's going through. Let's figure something out for her. So he went beyond what he could do and really started thinking about what else I might need than just chiropractic treatments. And so he sent me some massage therapist, but the big key here was he also sent me to a nutritionist. So I hadn't worked in a while at that point, and after seeing the nutritionist, I think for a week, I was able to go back to work. Now I'm super gung ho, like I'm a go person, so I think most people wouldn't have gone back to work, but you know, I was keen. I really love my job, everyone that I worked with, and um, I just wasn't, you know, I was keen to get back to work. So I went back to work anyway. So it did get me to a point where I could be back at work. But I was struggling. I wasn't really letting anyone know how bad it was, but it was really bad, just trying to be present because I had these crazy headaches going on. So the chiro, the nutritionist, really, really helped me out. So what the nutritionist had me do was cut out all sugars, dairy, like went on all these cleanses, and it did really help out. Which now I know there was so many things happening with my gut as well, that the spinal injury and my health gut, the lack of health in my gut, were contributing to this huge mess in my head that was happening. So, in short, that's kind of how it all started, and then the story really goes on after that. But a few months after, I was waitressing at the time, which is crazy. At Carumba, which is it was insane in there. So busy. I really look back and I'm like, I don't know how I did this. I just wanted to keep my life as it was, so I did everything that I could to do that. At a cost. But so as I was working, and one of my coworkers, I said, "Oh, the doctor wants me to start doing yoga," and really, I'd done a bit, mostly Rodney videotapes. And I remember the videotapes were like 20 minutes, and I'd be like looking at my watch the whole time, like, "Is this gonna end? I hate this. Like, I need to go do something else. Get me on my bike." Blah. So I wasn't much of a yogi. But he said to me, "Oh, I went to do this yoga teacher training in India. It was 30 days of yoga, like every day, yoga twice a day." And my eyes just like wide, and like, "You did 30 days of yoga? Okay, that's what I need to do. My doctor says that yoga's what's going to help me. So I don't even know what teacher training is, but I'm going to go and do 30 days of yoga." So that's what I did. I took off to California and went and did a teacher training at an ashram. And not just any ashram, the Shivananda ashram, which is pretty old school. There's swamis all over the place. There's lots of chanting, tambourines. I didn't know what an ashram was, nor what a swami was, and I've never heard Sanskrit in my whole entire life. So it was quite an experience to get there. And I mean, it was a perfect experience by the end. I was like grabbing those tambourines. Yeah, let's do this. Anyway, all to say, that's where my yoga kind of came into play, and has been my saving grace through all of this. It helped me grieve the loss of a life that I had built for myself all around snowboarding and mountain biking. It was really difficult to let all that go. And I know that it would just be there in a different form when I would need it again. So it really helped me with that, to let go of identity. Like, I really identified myself as a mountain biker, as a snowboarder. All my friends did that. That's what I did as, when I wanted to relate with people, I'd go for a bike ride or go snowboarding. That's all I did. That was my whole life. And I was pumped on it. Anybody that knew me knew that I was stoked on mountain biking especially. I just loved it. So it really helped me letting go of that identity. Like, I am a mountain biker. Because that is not something constant that is sustainable to hang on to. And mountain biking at the time was such, or biking, any sort of biking in general, was really my way of letting go of stress, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. But with a cost. So it was really hard on my body. I mean, mountain biking is not a forgiving sport. Anyone that does it knows this. There's a risk every time you go on that bike. And so yoga became a more sustainable way for me to, to let go of all the things, I would use mountain biking for, to let go of. Because really yoga, I mean, I could lay on my back and do yoga for, laying on my back for an hour is a yoga pose, a yoga class all on its own. So that's really, and then so many other things happen over years. I mean, I could go on forever. I already see the clock. It's like 12 minutes. It's a long conversation. But basically, I've taken the last decade to really befriend chronic pain. What it's like to have it in my day-to-day. What it's like being myself regardless of this pain. And continuously asking myself the question, how can I live a happy and content life in spite of the pain that I experience daily? So I feel I have a lot of knowledge about living with chronic pain, and I feel that my purpose, or the gift of this chronic pain, is that so that I can help a lot of other people. Because of these migraines and all these gut issues that I've had, because of that, I've made all these changes in my life that have been awesome. I might not have discovered what an amazing life, what an amazing world this is, had I not began this journey with chronic pain. It's kept me tender and therefore compassionate. And so my ultimate goal is to share what I've learned over the years and help as many people as I can that that are experiencing grief and suffering and isolation and despair. And to know that chronic pain doesn't have to look like this sad face or this face of agony, but it can also look like, someone that's happy and content. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. with variations at times. um, if you know anyone that is really struggling with chronic pain, please direct them my way. Um, I have lots of ways to guide people towards a happy and content life, which is a practice, by the way. Um, yeah, so thanks for listening, and um, may all your hearts stay tender so that you can experience compassion for yourself and others.